So I have already built this kit a couple of times in the past, but I never really did an unboxing. So since I'm going to be building it again with another RWB body kit on top of it, I decided to do an unboxing of this one as well. It is a really nice kit from Tamiya with a lot of good fitting parts and probably one of the easier ones to build, apart from of course the decals, which require some skill. Although I'm not going to be using any of these. So let's jump into it, go through the box a bit more quickly, and then into a bit more details as usual. To start off, we're going to go with a set of clear parts. As you can see, it has one big piece for the chassis, and that is pretty much the flat bottom. It all gets pretty much painted in black, I believe, and you do need to take care of these sides as they will still be visible after you've assembled the entire model. These are sort of like the side skirts. All the other small clear parts have a lot of details and lines, very crisp, no imperfections whatsoever. And of course also a nice line around here, so you can mask it off and paint that black edge. Same goes for the front window, and just like some of those indicators on the front, the rear lenses and also some other of the front lenses have a lot of nice detailed lines in them as well. So as this is pretty much a race car, the interior is very bare bones. It has a pretty blank door card for on the sides and of course a racing bucket. It does only come with one seat as this is the racing version and the actual one didn't come with two seats, but instead they added some of these canisters to go in place of that second seat. The dashboard is pretty standard and all the same in all these kits. Even the road going kit has pretty much all the same parts. Everything is super nicely detailed, though all molded in black. Most of it will probably be needed to paint it black, but it doesn't really matter. All the other details are there as well. It has some nice coilovers, some other suspension pieces, bushings, and all the stuff like that. A cool steering wheel. You can drill the holes out to make it look a bit more realistic, or just leave it. Also has some tow hooks and the exhaust. A couple of nice disc brakes that you can really detail out, maybe even add some photo etch on top to change the look entirely or make it even more realistic. Now with that race car theme continuing on the next sprue, you can see that this one has a nice roll cage as well. Some of the details on the sides with an X-brace and some of the parts for on top and the rear as well. A couple of pieces for the spoiler, which has a nice vent, and behind that you can place this to detail it out a bit. It even has some body parts like the front splitter and of course the main chassis piece. Now this one isn't really all that detailed. You can make it look pretty convincing, but it's nothing really special. The engine is molded in one piece and you just need to add the exhaust pieces on there. On the body side, they did decide to mold the handles separately, which could make it easier to detail it a bit more and paint them easier. And of course some of the nice mirrors and some more spoiler pieces. You have a couple options for a lower and a higher one, I believe. Of course there are also a couple of chrome pieces, which not really that chrome, but they do the job and are not really that flashy as most other kits. It is a really nicely detailed wheel. The center needs to be painted gold in most cases, and of course some parts for the mirrors and the light housings as well. With this being a race car, it comes with slicks, so nothing really special to be shown there, as it's just one big piece of rubber. Also some poly caps, so you can still kinda rotate the wheels once you've assembled it all. The body is molded in black, pretty much one piece apart from the splitter in the front and that engine cover, but that doesn't really matter because this makes it easier to change it with some aftermarket ones. It has a couple of details on the roof for some antennas, even has a fuel filler flap or cap on the front, and some quick release latches. It's really just a race car body pretty much. Some of these over fenders, they are the same as the stock version from the road going car back in the day, so that doesn't really change a lot, but a lot of race car features have been added, I think at least, as I'm not sure if the road car actually had these, but nevertheless this one does. And also some details here which you can put some mesh behind. These are of course where you need to put the lights. It does have a couple of mold lines which need to be removed. They are not really in tough places, just mainly on rounded corners, which does make it easy to remove them. The panel lines are nice and crisp and don't really need that much of touching up. So if you like placing decals, this is the kit for you. Pretty much the entire body needs to be filled with a lot of these decals all over the place, and also on a lot of complicated shapes. They need to be formed really well. Though these decals are from high quality, it's still not that easy to do. Especially these ones right here. They are for the mirrors. This red needs to go around it and the white on top, and that is a real pain to do, I know from past experience. It does come with an additional decal sheet with some of these red decals. I think they are supposed to go on top of this one. Nice looking decals, but a bit too much for me. So as mentioned a couple of times, I have built this kit before in the past, pretty much in stock form, using all of the stock parts with a couple of add-ons like these carbon Kevlar decals, and I also added some racing seat belts in there. Not really my best work, but for an 8-year-old build, it's not that bad, especially considering that I was just doing this for a couple of years back then. So all the decals were applied, and I then finished it with a matte clear coat to seal it all up and give it a bit of a test car kind of look.